If you're a small business owner, I can almost guarantee you're losing money on your phone right now. Not because you're bad at what you do, but because you're either missing calls entirely, your team is buried in repetitive phone work, or your best people are spending hours collecting basic information instead of doing high value work. Here is the reality. Phones are still critical for small businesses. I would even say mid sized businesses, phones are essential. Customers are still calling to book appointments, to ask questions, and to make buying decisions. But most businesses cannot afford to staff phones 24/7, and manual phone work does not scale. That's where voice AI agents come in. These are not replacements. I want to be clear. These are not replacements for your team. They're a force multiplier that handle repetitive, high volume conversations, or they work on weekends or nights, so your people can focus on what actually moves the needle. I'm Sam Weinstein. I've spent the last decade helping businesses implement systems that transform operations, first in legal tech, then in healthcare, now through AI implementation to all SMB mid-sized companies. In this video, I'm going to show you what voice agents actually are, how they work, the real world use cases where they create measurable ROI, return on investment, how to know if it makes sense for your business. Let's jump in. So, what exactly is a voice AI agent or a voice agent? I'm going to call it moving forward. It's a virtual team member that can speak naturally, listen and understand the intent of the caller, follow a structured workflow, access your knowledge base and systems, and take actions on your behalf. Like you hire a new person to take on the phones. You train them on their processes, you give them access to your CRM and calendar, you teach them their FAQs, and you set clear escalation rules. Voice agent works almost the exact same way, except it can handle hundreds of calls simultaneously, never takes days off, and executes with perfect consistency each time. So, what are its core capabilities? It can handle inbound and make outbound calls. Usually requires some extra tech, but very normal. It has multi question conversations with dynamic follow ups. It collects and validates data. It updates your CRM and systems in real time. Now, I want to be clear what a voice agent is not. Okay, it is not robocall blasting like the from the previous era. It's not a frustrating IVR menu. For this, press one, for this, press two. It's not a human replacement. Voice agents are tools. They're only valuable when they're applied to the right problems. Now, how do voice agents actually work? Let me walk you through it step by step. Step one, the call is made or received. Let's say received. The caller speaks naturally. No buttons, no scripts. Hi, how can I help you today? The AI transcribes the speech and understands the intent of what the customer is calling about or whoever it is calling about. Step four is that business logic and guardrails are applied. Step five, the AI responds in real time, usually in under a second. Step six, actions are taken in connected systems, bookings, CRM updates, data logging, etc. This loop happens continuously, allowing the AI to adapt based on what the caller says. What is the agent actually connected to? For the voice agent to be useful, it must be connected to three things. Number one, some kind of knowledge base, your FAQs, your documentation, product details, policies, approved scripts. It needs to be connected to your business system. So that could be your CRM, your calendar, spreadsheets, your ticketing systems. And it has to be connected to conversation context, past calls, caller history, account details. What kind of guardrails? This is where most people get it wrong. They treat voice AI like a generic bot instead of a trained employee. You need to define what the agent can and cannot say, when to escalate to a human, how it handles uncertainty. There would be plenty of times where you don't actually know what the customer is calling about. And you configure behavioral style, empathetic versus upbeat, professional versus friendly, short and efficient versus conversational. You align it with your brand. You're including company slogans, phrases, vocabulary to avoid. Maybe we don't like to use those terms. You even choose voice characteristics: what kind of gender, what kind of accent, what kind of speed, warmth, energy level. The key idea is that voice AI works best when it behaves like a trained employee, not a generic bot. Let me give you a couple of high value use cases for small, mid sized companies. Okay, I'm going to walk through five right now, and I'll even include two examples from my own client work. Number one, inbound call handling and after hours coverage. What this does is it answers calls 24/7, it captures caller intent, it captures details, It routes urgent calls or schedules follow ups. Who is this for? Clinics, home services, law firms, insurance agencies, businesses that miss calls outside of business hours or on weekends. What's the ROI? Every missed call is a potential lost customer. Voice AI ensures no call goes unanswered. Number two, appointment booking and scheduling. Books appointments, it reschedules appointments, and it confirms appointments. It syncs with people's calendars in real time. It sends confirmations and it sends reminders. Who is this for? Medical practices, therapists, salons, service technicians, businesses with high scheduling volume or frequent no shows. And the ROI, if it's not clear already, it's that reduced no shows, less time on scheduling, more appointments booked without adding headcount. Number three, lead qualification and intake. Answers inbound calls or sales calls, particularly. It asks qualifying questions, it scores leads for you, and it pushes hot leads to your sales team. And obviously, if it's a cold lead, it doesn't push anywhere. Who is this for? Professional services, B2B SaaS, software as a service, high ticket service providers, businesses that want sales teams focused on high intent leads and not just on everyone that's calling the phone. And the ROI here is your sales team talks to people ready to buy, not answering basic questions repeatedly. Number four, product research and customer discovery calls. This is one of my favorite because it shows just how creative you can get. What does this do? The AI calls opted in customers, obviously they have to opt in, and conducts 10 to 20-minute structured interviews. It asks dynamic follow up questions, it extracts insights, and outputs summaries into spreadsheets, dashboards, or product feedback docs. Who is this for? This is for SaaS companies, market research firms, consumer brands, startups, validating product market fit, anyone who needs continuous customer feedback. But maybe you struggle to scale quantitative research or you just don't have the right time or resources to be meeting with hundreds and hundreds of customers. Why is this powerful? Traditionally, customer discovery is manual and time intensive. You might do 10 or 20 interviews and call it a day. With voice AI, you can conduct hundreds of interviews, analyze patterns, and surface insights that would take weeks to gather manually. This turns weeks of manual interviews into scalable, repeatable systems. Example number five is data collection and CRM enrichment through outbound calls. This one's a little bit creative, but stay with me here. This is another real world example that shows where a voice AI replaces repetitive, low leverage work. The AI calls external organizations like a doctor's office or a service provider and asks structured questions. What services do you offer? What are your hours? What insurances do you take? Do you require referrals? It validates responses and it updates your CRM with information that maybe you can't find on their website. And it gives you accurate, structured data. Who is this for? Medical referral networks, healthcare marketplaces, insurance platforms, businesses that rely on accurate external data and currently have staff manually calling for information. So here's a scenario. Let's say you run a healthcare referral platform. You need to know which doctors accept which insurance. You need to know their hours and if they're accepting new patients or maybe if they've retired. I don't know. That information changes constantly and is not always available online. Traditionally, someone on your team calls dozens of offices every week to verify details. It's tedious and time consuming, but critical. With voice AI, you can automate that entire process. The AI makes the calls, asks the questions, records answers, and updates your database without tying up your team so your team can focus on higher value tasks. This replaces repetitive, low leverage phone work, not high value human judgment. Notice everything I've talked about here is not replacing humans, but it's allowing the humans, freeing them up to do higher value work. Now, voice AI is not for everyone. Here's what it's not for. Voice AI is not ideal for emotional crisis conversations. People who are in distress need a human to talk to. If it's legal or medical decision making, like a high liability scenario, you probably want a human in there for human judgment. Or if it's highly unstructured edge cases where something is very unpredictable with complex judgment calls, not a great use case for AI. Voice AI works best for repeatable, structured conversations. The more predictable the call flow, the better the results. That's why you need human fallback mechanisms, clear escalation rules, ongoing call review, and system refinement. Voice AI is not set it and forget it. It's a system that improves with intentional iteration. What does it take to actually launch a successful AI pilot? Here's where it takes, and here's where most businesses go wrong. Common mistakes: no call mapping before building, no guardrails defining what the agent can do, no monitoring after the launch. You kind of just launch the agent and, let him do his thing. What's a better approach? So I have a six-step process for what I recommend for launching these AI pilots. And maybe I'll do a video on this later on. Number one, identify high volume, repeatable calls. Find conversations that happen over and over with minimal variation. Number two, define the success metrics. Is it number of calls handled? I recommend time saved, calls handled, revenue recovered. Be very specific about what you expect these agents to do. Number three, design conversations intentionally. Map the call flow, define questions, and script the responses. Four, connect real systems like a CRM, like your calendar, like your knowledge base. If you're not connecting systems, I think you're wasting the power here. Five, launch narrow, start with one use case, test thoroughly and refine, and then expand. And then six, improve continuously, review calls, identify patterns, and optimize performance. This is the same process I use for all AI implementations: plan, build, test, launch, improve, and scale. Six steps. It ensures every initiative is strategic, effective, and sustainable. Let's talk about ROI for a second, because this needs to make financial sense, and AI is not cheap. So it's got to be worth it. So, what kind of metrics are we tracking here to make sure the ROI is worth it? I would say calls handled per day, per week, per month, hours of manual work eliminated, revenue recovered from missed calls, data accuracy improvements, and I guess to simplify the ROI formula, it would be time times volume times consistency. So, as an example, if the task takes 10 minutes per call, happens 50 times per day, and needs perfect execution, that's 500 minutes daily or over 8 hours. At $20 an hour, that's $160 a day or $3,200 a month. A voice AI agent handling that workload costs a fraction and scales effortlessly. Focus on the cases where volume is high, where the task is repetitive, and the cost of not doing it is significant. So just to wrap up, and here's what I want you to walk away with from this whole video, okay? Voice AI is most powerful when it's designed intentionally, when it's aligned with your business goals, and when it's paired with humans, not used as a replacement. Paired, not replacing. Here's what I recommend you do next: audit your phone workflows. Where is your team spending time on repetitive calls? Identify repeatable conversations. Could a well trained employee handle this with a script and system access? If the answer is no, maybe not the best case. The answer is yes, great use case for AI. And think about the ROI. Calculate time, volume, and cost. If the numbers make sense, explore further. Lastly, if you want help evaluating whether voice AI makes sense for your business, or ideas on what kind of voice AI would make sense for your business, I offer free 30-minute AI consultation calls where we can discuss your specific workflows. Book a time through the link in the description. I'll be happy to talk further. And if you found this helpful, subscribe below for more content on how small businesses can adopt AI to work smarter and scale faster. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.